glad to see all your beautiful faces. So good evening, and thank you for joining us tonight for a special edition of Face It Q&A session presented by Fayette County Public Schools in the 16th District PTA. Of course, during this time, it is most important that our families and communities engage together and support one another.
So as you all already know, the Face It platform allows us to virtually have real talk, build real partnerships, allow real ways for us to express what we're feeling, exert our energy in a positive way, and be solution-driven in our approach to whatever we are facing in our communities and in our schools during this special program this evening. So I'm Sharika Smith. I work in the Department of Student Support. I'm so glad to be here with you all.
She's awesome, of course. And I am Melody Westerfield, the FACE, the Family and Community Engagement Liaison. I'm located at William Wells Brown Elementary School. This special edition of Face It will focus on the Virtual Learning Academy. Our format will be a little different tonight, guys. So, we have a presentation this time, and our guests will be explaining and breaking down what the Virtual Learning Academy actually is, which is a little different from NTI and 2DL. So we're going to talk about that all tonight. And you heard a little bit about that on our last show, right, Sharika? On August 13th, they talked a little bit about that, but tonight is going to be a little different. They're going to talk about something different. And so we get the opportunity to learn and ask some questions. So without further ado, I have Soraya back here again. Soraya, please go ahead. Dr. Soraya Matthews, please go ahead and introduce yourself.
So happy to be back. Yes, hello, I am Soraya Matthews, and I serve our district as the Director for Teaching and Learning, primarily with secondary schools, so middle and high schools, but I also wear another hat in working as a leadership team with Pryor, who's going to introduce herself shortly, for our special magnet and innovative programs.
Absolutely. V, you're up. Introduce yourself, give us your title.
Thank you, and hello everyone. So glad to be here today. I am V. Pryor, and I am the program manager for special and magnet programs, as well as new and innovative programs.
Okay, so I've seen V's name, I've emailed her, but I just now had the opportunity to put a face with everything. So it's an honor to have you both as our guests today. So without further ado, I will let you all begin your presentation.
Awesome. So I'm going to share my screen here, and you should see on your screen, correct? All right, great. Yes. So we are sharing with you all today, again, as Melody shared, just about the Virtual Learning Academy. And V and I are going to go through some slides, talk through some things with you just to make sure we're all on the same page and understanding. I want to start with some key terms that you probably have heard throughout the last couple of weeks, one being virtual learning. And what that really means is if you think about the entire school process and you remove the walls and then put it out on the internet in a virtual space, that really entails everything that happens with virtual learning. So now other terms that you hear in relation to virtual learning are whether or not it's synchronous or asynchronous. And synchronous just really means that learning takes place at the same time and in the same space. For example, if you have a teacher who is scheduling a Zoom call or a Zoom meeting with all of her students at 10 a.m. And everyone is kind of in that Zoom space at 10 a.m., that's called synchronous virtual learning. On the flip side, when we talk about asynchronous virtual learning, that really is a pre-designed learning experience that has been designed by the teacher. Many of our teachers are going to either be using Google Classroom or Canvas, and they're going to kind of create learning experiences that students can navigate anytime in any place on their own, whenever they have that convenience of time. So that really is the difference between synchronous and asynchronous. And I know that's like some new terms that we've been using here lately. So I want to make sure for Melody's sake.
This is my new favorite two words.
Yeah, so I want to make sure we all go forward in knowing and understanding what those terms mean. As we start out the school year, we're looking at two options for our families. One is NTI 2DL, which is what every school in our district is opening school with. And it really is that virtual learning. Again, your teachers, the teachers who are assigned to the schools will be working with your students through NTI 2DL. And we shared all about that this past Thursday. And then the other option, of course, is what we're here to talk about, which is the FCPS Virtual Learning Academy. And again, that's also virtual learning, but it's for a different purpose and for a different student population. So as we start to think about what is the FCPS Virtual Learning Academy, the FCPS Virtual Learning Academy was truly designed for that small number of families who, for reasons related to their child's health or the health of your family members who are living in the same household, that those students or the families did not want those students to return to face-to-face in-person instruction during the school year, during the 2021 school year. So we want to make sure that that's very clear to our families, that the Virtual Learning Academy was specifically designed for those students who have a compromised immune system, or that someone in their household may also have some healthcare concerns, and therefore those students will not want to return back to even small group face-to-face instruction. Okay, so V's going to share a little bit about our timeline for the application.
So our deadline to apply is August the 18th. So you have until noon on Tuesday to submit your application. We're already receiving a lot of applications, and so just make sure that you get your application in by the deadline. Invitation, the placements will go out, will be sent on August 20th. So you'll receive a notification, an invitation to enroll in the program, and then you have a deadline to respond, which is August the 22nd at midnight to make that determination on whether or not you want your student to enroll in the Virtual Learning Academy. Okay, also, we will begin distribution of course schedules and technology on August the 24th. We will have our virtual orientation for families the 24th through the 25th. And then, of course, our first day of school for all students will be August the 26th.
Thank you, V. So as we start to talk a little bit about the Virtual Learning Academy, we know that some questions have come up about the curriculum and our curriculum content provider. And I wanted to share with our families that our content provider is Florida Virtual Schools. But I also want to make sure I clarify for you all that the content itself is housed in our platform and facilitated by FCPS teachers. The content was just purchased from Florida Virtual Schools, but it will be housed in our school, in our district. Florida Virtual Schools have no access to our students, and everything will definitely be housed right here in FCPS. And then that content will be aligned to Kentucky academic standards. I want to make sure I clarify that as well. And the content is truly about mastery-based learning. It will include all core classes and core courses, as well as some electives. And the curriculum itself features interactive lessons and modules, videos, lessons, assessment, quizzes, and exams. So you can tell it is a comprehensive curriculum. Now, I just wanted to share as a wrap up what the entire school year might look like. As you can see, one side of the screen is an inclusive box, option 1, which means that at some point during the year, even though we're starting out in NTI 2DL, if things change, if we see numbers drop, then we might go into a hybrid instruction. Again, this is for students who are enrolled in their traditional schools, in their home schools. That is more of that flexible option. And then option 2 is the Virtual Learning Academy. So as families, you're not enrolling in both, you are opting for one or the other. Mm-hmm. Okay, now that opens up for questions.
Of course. You know, I have a question off top.
Favorite
First of all, you keep saying my favorite two words that I can't even pronounce, but just to clarify, and I'm pretty sure some of our parents probably want to know and have this at the top of their list of questions when it comes to the virtual learning academies. But just to clarify, is this for a semester, a full year, temporary? Like what's the timeline?
Yeah.
So families will be allowed to switch back to their home school at the end of the fall semester. And for those families who have no desire of returning their students to in-person instruction, they may remain in the VLA.
So, but if I get started and I change my mind, what happens then? You know, we could be funny like that.
Right, yeah, great question. So all families that have submitted an application to the Virtual Learning Academy will have until August the 22nd to accept or decline enrollment. Okay. So I hope that helps families.
So you're on a roll, so I have one more. Okay.
Okay.
so let's say I go through the whole year and I'm good, I enjoyed myself. Do I have to reapply at the beginning at the top of so I went through my first semester and then I'm going on to my second semester. Do I have to reapply?
So if you're currently in the VLA, no, you do not have to reapply. However, if you leave and decide to come back, then at the second semester, we would allow families to submit an application. Okay. So if you stay in VLA and you're already in it and you stay, you don't have to reapply for the second semester.
Thank you. Just to clarify what V is saying, essentially for families who may not opt into that first semester, they will have an opportunity to opt into the second semester.
It's good too. I like that.
Yeah, yeah. So I kind of want to get into the nitty gritty of just the question of why anyway. We all know that FCPS is an amazing school district. So why are we even offering this to our families? The Virtual Learning Academy, why do we need to offer this? And why right now?
Great question. So in July, when we polled families with our back to school survey, many families expressed an interest in an all virtual option. And therefore, you know, with the unknowns of COVID-19, our superintendent recognized that there was a need for students and families, specifically students with healthcare concerns or family members with healthcare concerns, to have a learning option that provided both the opportunity to continue to learn at the rigor that is expected, you know, our Kentucky academic standards, but also would not require that student to return face to face.
So Soraya, you were talking a little bit earlier about the curriculum for, you know, Virtual Learning Academy. And if my child or student is not in the Virtual Learning Academy, let me say it correctly, what curriculum will they use?
So yeah, we talked a lot about that on Thursday in the August 13th section, the segment that was about the NTI 2DL. My colleagues, BJ Martin and Amy Johns and we all just really discussed what it will look like for NTI 2DL. So I'm gonna reference that segment to answer all of those questions.
So you said go back and watch the video. Good job, I like that.
Way to put a little plug in.
Right.
Like so, Dr. Matthews, I do have another question. What layers or levels of support will these students receive if they choose this option, VLA?
Absolutely. So the Virtual Learning Academy, and we call it VLA for short, so I'll just say VLA and you'll kind of know what I'm talking about. VLA will be staffed in a variety of ways, including special education teachers, EL teachers, GT teachers, just as you would see in general education in other schools, right? And our teachers will provide modifications and accommodations that our students and that for our students who are enrolled in the academy.
Awesome.
So Sharika, how about you know, these students also being able to connect with mental health and their you know, FRC person that support at their school?
So I can actually answer that question. My department has been working with the IT department on an online referral system. So I do know this. It has been created for VLA families. So if VLA families need assistance with basic needs, utilities or clothing, things like that from their family resource coordinators, or mental health support. You know, normally in the typical school year, they would go to their counselors, social workers, district mental health specialists, or FRISC. So with the VLA model, I do know that there will be an online referral system that those families can use to seek that support. And the report will automatically be sent to the home school. So their school of residence, they do need to know where they would typically attend school. That student support team will get the notification and reach back out to families. So that's going to be provided too.
So, ladies and gentlemen, our third guest for the evening. Absolutely. So, okay, so here's a question. If my child or a student is taking foreign language, will they be able to continue to take foreign language through VLA?
That is a great question. So the answer is yes. Spanish will be offered to elementary, middle, and high school, and additional languages will be available for our high school students in French, Latin, and Chinese.
Okay.
That's awesome.
That is awesome.
So V, what about Google Chromebooks? Do students need to pick up their Chromebook from the homeschool, or will VLA be providing them?
Yeah, I know that, you know, families are so excited they want to get those Chromebooks, but
Yes.
We're asking all families who will enroll in VLA not to pick up their Chromebooks from their home schools.
Okay.
Students will receive their Chromebooks from VLA.
Okay.
Yes.
That's good. Okay.
Do you know by chance if they already have them? Do you know that answer? I don't want to put you on the spot, but if they already have
Well,
them.
no, I know that families have been asking the question, you know, that they have been asked by their current home school to pick up Chromebooks, and as families are reaching out to me and asking me that question, and they know for sure that they're going to enroll, that is what I've been advising families, is not to pick up the Chromebook.
Okay.
We will ensure that all of our students, you know, that you will receive the Chromebooks through VLA.
Okay, that's good.
So if they already have them and they've already picked them up, we probably will ask that they return them back to their home school. And that way we keep it clean, you know, so that the Chromebooks that are assigned to Virtual Learning Academy will stay for the Virtual Learning Academy.
Absolutely. We have to do that data check, that follow the trail right there.
Yes.
So,
That's right. That's right.
Inventory.
Inventory is the word I'm looking for.
That's right.
So what if a student or a child is currently in the marching band at high school? Can they participate, continue to stay in the marching band when they enroll in VLA?
So the short answer to that question is no, but I want to explain. I want to explain this because this probably does get really muddy for families. When it comes to activities such as the marching band, FFA, and orchestra, those are considered co-curricular programs. And so what that means is the program requires both a school course component and a performance component that is directly linked to the course. And therefore, those co-curricular activities and that involvement would not be an option for students at the Virtual Learning Academy.
Okay.
Sounds like VLA needs its own band.
Just thinking that.
That's a great idea, Sharika.
I wouldn't put it past our creative students. I would not put it past them.
Hey, there you go.
So in the event that this question, you're not able to answer this almost sounds like a Dr. Matthews question. We had someone send us a question in the chat box. And it was, will this be the Florida model for flex learning or a full-time schedule? Is that something we know yet?
So that question is coming from someone who has Googled and did some research on the Florida virtual schools. I want to make sure I go back to saying this is not, our program is not Florida virtual schools. We purchased the content from them. So in that case, it's really neither, because we're not the Florida virtual schools. So their content will live within the Virtual Learning Academy. And I really don't want to confuse any families. So if you have kind of researched and you went to Florida virtual schools trying to find out more, that's probably going to confuse you, because that is their own school model. We have simply purchased the content from them to house in our own model.
Okay.
Got you. So I think if I can kind of summarize it up in a different way, you bought the book, but you're not teaching it how they teach it. You're teaching it how you want to teach it. And so
You can put it like that.
we just got the words. We just took the words.
Yeah, you can essentially put it like that.
Oh my goodness.
All right. So like always, we like to kind of end our sessions, our Q&As with words of encouragement. We just truly appreciate the two of y'all taking your time out on a Sunday evening to explain VLA to us. So do you all have any last words of encouragement you want to share with our family?
Well, you know, my word for the week on Thursday was grace, and I'm going to just say that's my word. It will continue to be my word.
On Sunday too.
On Sunday too. But I also just want to share that this segment was specifically designed to answer questions about the Virtual Learning Academy. There is a lot of information floating around, and some of it is not accurate information in our community. So we wanted to just reassure the FCPS families that this option exists to support our students and families who, even when our numbers decline, students are able, and when students are able to return in small numbers, but we have students who have health concerns that may not be the best option for them. So that's why we have our Virtual Learning Academy. And if you have any questions, please reach out to us. And I think we have our information that we're going to share with you and how to reach us for your questions. This will just ensure that you get the most accurate information.
Appreciate that.
Do you got anything? Do you have a word for the week?
Well, I just want to say thank you to the families. I mean, I have spoken to so many families that have been so supportive. They've been so understanding. They have even encouraged me. And so it has been really phenomenal. The parents that really understand what we're dealing with and that they understand that we're in this together. So I do want to say thank you to those families that have really been in partnership with us, and, you know, they're going along with us on this journey. We're on this journey together, and they do understand that, you know, information is going to be coming out rapidly, and they understand that things may change, but they understand. And so I want to say thank you to those families.
Yeah, the families are our partners, right? They're our partnership. So
Absolutely.
we're doing it together. So Sharika, you have your word, or no, you don't have a word?
I'm going to stick to the same. You know. This is a very, very hard decision for parents to make. I'm not a parent, but I can only imagine what you all are thinking as parents, you know. So whatever decision that you make sure it's the best for your child, make sure it's the best for your family, but keep in mind your commitment is a semester. So if you choose VLA, this is what I'm hearing, right, Dr. Matthews and V, if you choose VLA and in January you're like, this is not for me or my child, it's a semester commitment for sure, and then you can always go back to the NTI 2DL. So
that's right.
Just flexibility. I stole your word.
Flexibility.
That's what I'll just remember that for sure.
Okay. Listen, you ladies are awesome. Absolutely awesome. And I thank you for being on the show. V and Soraya, I do thank you so much for being on the show and providing all this information and just giving some clarification. And I thank everybody, all the families that have joined us tonight on this Sunday special edition of Face It, this live show. We would like to stay connected with you and continue to build our stronger community together with our support of our families and our students. Sharika is going to give you just some information about how we can stay connected to you right now.
Absolutely. So our behind the scenes IT lady is going to put on the screen ways to ask you all questions. We can watch this recording 10 different times over and over again, and we're still going to have questions, right? So families, if you think of more questions or you still need clarification, please email special.programs@fayette.kyschools.us. All right, you see that on the screen. Also, you can call 859-381-4741. Don't text that number like we normally ask you. Call that number, 381-4741. Or visit the website, www.fcps.net/VLA.
Perfect. You did that without a Without a hesitation, you
I just read
great.
it.
So everyone out there watching, please continue to mark your calendars. We are featuring a New Faces show. Our topic for this Thursday, August 20th at 6:30. We're still going to be facing virtual learning together, but we're going to do it student support style. So stay connected. Yes. And so we're gonna say good night on that. We're gonna continue to face it together, and you all have a good evening.
Good
Thank
night.
you, ladies.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you
Bye.
all.